I know I'm supposed to be required to pass off a joke before I leave. I'm really going to try and avoid that. But what an outstanding event we've had so far. I'm so impressed. We've come nearly to the end of this year's Finishing Industry Forum. Administrator Rusing, Gavin McDonald, audio, video, and coordination efforts of Danny Kelly's CSU team, thanks for your Herculean efforts. Thanks for another smoothly operated event. It's worth a round of applause if you ask me. Now, Mr. Rusing has led us through changes afoot at LMCI and FTI and what POI had accomplished. He called us all to task as he spoke of leadership by example, positive, open behaviors, and a willingness to get dirty and get the job done. He doled out daily challenges to us, all while in the work group sessions, and had he doled out daily challenges to us all while we would be in these work group sessions. He had a structured plan in place in each and every one of them to ensure that the sessions were productive. You saw some of that today. His podium times were all inspirational, if you ask me, and extremely well done. He can leave proud that this first FIF that he has spearheaded was truly a success. I know I had mentioned to Anton when I first got here, I said, Anton, great event, way to go, you did a super job. And I know he looked at me, but then quickly understood, often when we have the end result in mind, it's easy to get there, and he's done a super job. Mr. Burkoff, John led us through more changes and the importance of we, and what can be done when we're all on the same page and rowing in the same direction, and the principles of shared leadership. It's clear that Mr. Burkar's ship's plans afford no passengers, and every hand appears to have an oar in it. Steve Callan reminded us of the importance of simply speaking up, champion the cause, demonstrate a willingness to take risks. That created enhanced collaboration and trust. Those are the themes that I've heard where POI has come to. Travis Bornstein, Bob Swanson, they spoke on substance abuse and suicide prevention. Wow, was that powerful this morning? Look where we're at, and look what these people I'm doing. I'm guessing you, like me, had no idea how big a deal this was in the industry. As we've learned, we need to learn to recognize the signs and respond proactively if we want to be part of curbing this epidemic. Please bring it to your local curriculums to raise awareness. Please be part of it. The workshops were excellent. Absolutely outstanding were the responses I've heard from many. From emotional intelligence and influencing people, soft skills, pension, marketing, demountable partitions, industrial coatings, to name just some of them, all appeared extremely well attended. We heard about it this morning. I didn't know we were going to have it presented that way. Anton, that was a great idea. All appeared to be well attended and lively, with lots of forward-thinking discussions and several, now current, action items to be accomplished. And the moderators that led those sessions, another thank you. Dennis Doran, Dave Stavartek, Ken Seal, Dan Hink, Mike Hines, Mark Bartlett, Madison Hall, Rick Matthews, Tim Maitland, James Bogart, Beth Ruoff, Gavin McDonald, Simon Hazelwood, and Alice Gwynn. You're all a big reason that those work sessions were so productive. Thank you for that leadership. And holy smokes, Fly Girl? Wow, holy smokes. Fly Girl, Chief Breakthrough Officer, if that didn't get your blood boiling, I think your alcohol content got a little high over these last 3 days. Acknowledge the obstacle, but give it no power. Acknowledge the obstacle, but give it no power. That's very important if you ask me. She granted us all the authority we needed to get better. Simply said, you have my permission to engage. And let me add, I just know something good is going to come out of this. Looks like another successful week of workshops, committee meetings, sidebars, impromptu meetings, open sharing, best practices, and the occasional solving of issues. Well done. I hope you feel like your time was well spent here. I'm going to try and wrap up, but I have a story that I want to share before I hand it over to my labor partner. When Anton was talking about the monkeys, it reminded me of something. I won't tell you the one thing it reminded me of, but it did remind me of something else, okay? And this is something that I found a long time ago, and this is about geese. And I've shared this with my foreman. Some of you maybe have heard it before, but to me, we've got some wonderful lessons we could learn from our feathered friends, the goose. Here's one fact. As each goose flaps its wings, it creates an uplift for the other geese that follow. By flying in a V formation, the whole flock adds about 71% greater flying range than if the goose flew alone. Here's the lesson. Folks who share a common direction and sense of community can get where they're going quicker and easier because they're traveling on the thrust of one another. Another fact, when a goose falls out of formation, it suddenly feels the drag and resistance of flying alone. It quickly returns to take advantage of that lifting power. Our lesson, if we had as much sense as a goose, we would stay in the formation and go where we wanted to be headed. We would be willing to accept their support and give ours as well. When the lead goose gets tired, I don't know if you know this, they fall out of formation. The lesson, it pays to take turns doing the hard tasks and sharing leadership roles. As our geese, we too are interdependent on other skills, capabilities, talents, knowledge, individual and unique qualities and resources of each other. Another fact, geese flying in formation are constantly honking to encourage those up front to keep the pace. Lesson, we need to make sure that our honking is encouraging. Otherwise, it's just honking, and that will soon be ignored. When a goose gets wounded or sick and falls out of formation, automatically 2 other geese fly down to support it until healed or until death. Lesson, again, if we had as much sense as a goose, we stay by and support each other in difficult times as well as when we're strong. Here's a final question, and I think some of you might have the answer to it. We've all seen geese and they fly in a V, correct? Does anybody know why one side is longer than the other? There's more geese on that side. That's the correct answer. Very good. We know that we can make a difference if we openly and honestly face our market realities, remove our emotions, and then negotiate, advocate, and legislate our signatories and our labor partners into a better position together. We all know one shoe doesn't fit us all. We have to continue to work on things that matter and things that make a difference. I'm going to say if you didn't get anything out of coming here, it's likely because you chose not to or you didn't put anything into it yourself. Thanks for listening, and yes, we can make a difference if it's together. Still, no matter what, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for your time, your efforts, and the influences that you've made to our collective industry, each and every one of you. Thank you for listening.